What's up, everybody? It's Jason, zombie collector. I don't even know if I can where I can put this, big boy, big boy. So we'll see here. I really don't know where I can. Maybe I can put it on to the side here. Let's kind of push it off. There we go. It's not so in your face. So I went by recently and picked up a bunch of stuff at some pawn shops. Actually, I have another whole bag. That I'm not going to even get to today. I just grabbed what I had, and I'm going to do a quick video. Nothing, I don't think here is nuts. Nothing's knuckin' futz. Some of the stuff I picked up at my pappy's house. He's like, Jace, you need to get over here and get a bunch of the stuff. I don't want it. It's better in your collection than my own, or you can just do whatever you want with it. And I was like, oh, okay, Dad. If you want me to just take some movies, I'll take them and do something with them. So I'm gonna do some quick this what I picked up over the last. I don't even know, man. I kind of got burned out on the whole movies, just YouTube in general. I don't know if everybody else has ever felt that before. I know there's a handful of my sports guys that may still be lurking in the background on these videos, but they've heard me talk about that before, where you just kind of get burned out. Either it could be a specific situation that happens, or you just feel like you've just done something like every single day, and you just feel overwhelmed because you just have something going on. You're always trying to do videos all the time. It's nonstop. It just becomes more like a job than it is a hobby or fun. I've been doing a lot of selling of cards, of physical media, of some like Japanese stuff I've picked up over the years. A lot of Japanese memorabilia from film really from cinema. And I'm getting down to the nitty gritty of my collection. I've got rid of a lot of the fat, not around here and other my chesticles areas. Not that fat. I wish I could get rid of that fat, but I got rid of all the fat of my collection. I'm getting down to the meat and taters. So, but when I went home to visit with my folks, my dad was like, "Hey, go in the cabinets and grab out some." I mean, it was just so many DVDs he had. He was just like, "Just throw them in a bag and just take them." So I don't even really know what I picked up. I just grabbed a bag. He gave me a Kroger bag and said, "Hey, fill that thing up with DVDs and just take them back with you. I don't want them." I was like, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I don't care. I don't want them." Okay. So I'm going to show those off. I don't really have any rhyme or reason of anything specific here that I have. And like I said, I did pick up a stack of Blu-rays on at a pawn shop recently, and I got 2 Blu-rays for Father's Day that Luca bought me, which was really cool. And I'll show those off as well. This video is probably gonna be a little bit longer, but you know what? Who cares? You know, I'll have like 3 people watch this, and that's all I care about. I get those 3 people who watch, and that'll be that. So with that being said, let's stop showing off my face. The first movie up, everybody's favorite 90s action star who ballooned up to be like 400 pounds, Steven Seagal in Into the Sun. This is I think has a Japanese tinge to it. I think he says he's when the governor of Tokyo is murdered, it falls on an ex-CIA agent, Travis Hunter, to track down the responsible terrorist. So there you go. So William Atherton and Eddie George is in here. Both those guys' names do sound familiar. Juliette Margulies. So there's quite a few. Like I'm sure they're all like glorified cameos. And here's the inside with the insert. So that's nice. So anyway, so Into the Sun, I actually did not have that movie, but I'm not a huge Steven Seagal fan. Of his early stuff, I am, of like from the early 90s and throughout the 90s, really. I'm a huge fan of his work, but, you know, we all know what happened later on. He got weird, and things got weird. Next up is I have the first one. I did not have the second one. And again, I'm not, like I said, a lot of these I might hold on to. I might end up flipping them, try to make a couple bucks. I mean, none of this stuff is going to be worth any real money to most people. But if it doesn't fit in the collection or already have it, I might get rid of it. It just depends. Next up is also He is a national treasure. You got there Nicolas Cage with John Voight. Harvey Keitel's in this one. Ed Harris, Diane Kruger, Justin Bartha is in here. Helen Mirren. So it's a little bit of everybody. Again, I mean, we all know this is looks like a Disney exclusive one. I think with those like from their Disney movie club. I think that's where you see that's from the movie club. I could be wrong. So, anyways, I did not have the. Oh shoot! As I drop it on the ground here, let's try to. Oh. Well, that's probably why. Is because the little black sticky things, the little things that keep it from moving around, is busted as I drop those all over the floor. All right, next up is Keanu Reeves in The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is a remake of what is it? What was the original one? When did that one come out? Was it 50s, I think? Something, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, well, this is cool. It actually has the original and the remake, which I did not know about. Huh. So that's cool. The 1951 release. There it is, 1951. So that is cool. I did not have that. The Day the Earth Stood Still. I will definitely be checking that out. So that is pretty cool. I didn't even. I guess it does say on the back, but I did not see that. So The Day the Earth Stood Still. Very, very cool. I like it a lot. Like it a lot. Next up. Oh, here's another one. I feel like the disc is loose. Oh no, it's not. Okay. But it is Denzel in The Manchurian Candidate. Never seen this before. I believe this is also a remake from a previous movie from the 70s, maybe. But it has Meryl Streep, Liv Schreiber's in here. Who else is in there? John Voight. I must be a John Voight super collector today. Jeffrey Wright's in here. Ted Levine. Kimberly Elise. Not for sure who that is. But anyway, we got the Manchurian Candidate. So there you go. So definitely looking forward to checking that out. I'm a big Denzel fan. I thought about still kind of doing my reviews of movies. I've been watching a lot more recently. Dude, I just got done watching the Magnificent Seven remake from Antoine Fuqua. Oh my gosh, dude. I hadn't seen that movie since it came out like 2017 or 16 or whenever it came out. That movie is absolutely stellar. I actually watched it. I introduced it to Luca because at first Luca was like, Dad, a Western? Like, and I'm telling you, it's not your typical John Wayne Western where unless you're willing to put forth the work, it's going to be a long haul for most young people to watch a good old John Wayne Western movie. But I was like, this is not that movie. And it's, the cool thing, I got to say, this is like something cool. As soon as Byung Young Lee comes out, my son immediately identified with him. I thought it was very cool. He was like, "Oh, Dad, there's an Asian guy in this movie." I'm like, "I know." I thought it was super cool. I thought and I guess there's a part of me who just was like, "Wow," because I've never had that experience because so many movies, especially in the olden days, but I mean, essentially, like every actor, actress, even background person is a white person, and I take it for granted. I know now, I don't want. This is not me going down a rabbit hole, but there's a time and a place for all that. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, that was really cool that like he immediately identified with the Asian character, and I thought that was super cool. I was like, wow, that's awesome, dude. I'm like, yeah. And the fact that he plays like a really cool cat, and his name is Billy Rocks, and he's not playing any kind of stereotypical like manservant or walking three steps behind his white buddy or whatever the case is. It's pretty cool. I mean, I can only imagine how cool that must feel for a person who, like Denzel being black, and then there was a Hispanic fella in there. I can't remember his name, but he also, all of them play their roles as, respectable non-caricatures of their ethnicities. They just play guys, just guys that can just destroy other guys in battle. And I was thinking about this. I told my son, I go, I didn't see this the first time, but when I watched it the second time or the third time, and I'm like, aside from Billy Rocks, every other person who survives, the Native American, the black guy, Denzel, and then the Mexican guy, all the other guys except for him, all the white guys get killed. I was like, huh. I didn't think about that before, but that was true. And Luca was like, that's true, Dad. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, that is very interesting because you don't see that too often. I'm not for sure if Antoine Fuqua did that on purpose or that just was the way the story was written. I don't know. I don't care. I was like, because it's kind of like the George A. Romero when he did it with Ben. He was just the best actor. He didn't care that the guy who played Ben was black. It wasn't trying to be countercultural. He just was like, hey, I'm looking for the best actor to play this lead role. You are that guy. It didn't matter. But the ramifications like underneath it was under the surface, was simmering under the surface, was what people kind of was like, wow, okay, this decision was pretty bold. So I thought it was a very interesting decision being made. And again, I have no idea if that was on purpose or not. That's just the way the story was written. It might have had nothing to do with anybody, but this was like very interesting because that's not usually always the case. So I appreciated a outside the box thinking there, either on purpose or by accident. Next up is Kingdom of Heaven, and I honestly can't say that I remember watching this movie. This was a rental from back in the day. It's a 2-disc set. And you got Orlando Bloom, you got Liam Neeson, you got Jeremy Irons, Eva Green, Brendan Gleeson. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm sure I have seen this at some point in time. I think this was a Hollywood Video. Do you all remember Hollywood Video back in the day? There was one that popped up in my hometown because it pretty much ran out all the local mom and pop video shops from the 80s into the late 90s and the early 2000s. Hollywood Video kind of showed up and was like the king of the castle for a decade or so, and then they finally went out. It was like them and Red Giraffe, I think, were the two that kind of showed up towards the later in the boom to the end and kind of shut everyone else down. Kind of like how Walmart does. Walmart shows up and shuts down all the local businesses, and then they themselves pretty much then end up hurting themselves because there's no one left. There's no competition. So I can't remember exactly, but it's from Ridley Scott, who had did Gladiator, 2-disc set. But yeah, I need to go back and revisit this movie. Let's see what's next. Next up is a Donnie Yen joint, a Empress and the Warriors. Never seen this before, but Donnie Yen just got signed to play in John Wick Part 4, so I'm super pumped about that. Here is the disc along with the insert. Donnie Yen's one of those actors who has been flirting with, he's probably in his 50s at this point, I would assume, or if not, he's in his late 40s, but I'm pretty sure he has to be at least 50-something years old now. He's been flirting with breaking out in American cinema over the years. Like they keep giving him just little tiptoes into the pool, but they don't let him go all the head dive right in, which sucks because he's been around forever. He was in Highlander, The Quickening. He was in Blade 2. He's in Ip Man and all those movies, and every Hong Kong Chinese film it feels like he's in. But always plays these really cool characters, and then he has a 1-minute screen time, and then he gets decapitated or gets kicked, gets killed or off or whatever, and it just sucks. But yeah, Donnie Yen, man, he's one of those few action stars. I just don't feel like he gets enough, at least in the West, enough respect. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the John Wick films. Oh, next up, another Hollywood Video joint, Troy, with Brad Pitt, Brian Cox is in here, Sean Bean, also Brendan Gleeson, Peter O'Toole, Diane Kruger's in this as well. Orlando Bloom. Hold on, wait. Is this not? Is that the, oh no, it's like the whole same cast in this that's in Kingdom of Heaven. Is this like a part 2? Did I miss something? So, anyways, so yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anything. This is a 2-disc special edition as well with the insert, which that tells you a lot because nowadays, whenever you do find like family video, that's still kind of around or was up until about the last few months. They would not leave you with both discs. They would get rid of, if it was supposed to be a Blu-ray, it would be a Blu-ray release only. They would get rid of the DVD. If it was a 4K, they would get rid of the deep Blu-ray and only leave the 4K. So there'd be like 2 or 3 spots for more discs, and they would take them all out. I guess they would throw them away or sell them individually. If there was any inserts or slip covers, they threw all that stuff out. So whenever you would buy that, at like sometimes full price, full price for them like $20 or 18 or 15, and they would just keep dropping it down and buy 3 for 10 and all that. But Hollywood Video, apparently, they still let you get the insert. They give you both discs. So that was super cool. So there you go. So that's Troy. And honestly, I can't remember hardly any of these movies, so I need to go back and revisit them all. Next up is Rush Hour 2. Jet Li and Chris Tucker. Again, this is a good movie. Oh, well, this is what happens when you don't really pay attention. So I got this movie from my pops, and there's no movie. There's no DVD. So I will have to go back or have him look or me go back. I'll have to put that to the side and be like, yo, no DVD there. But if everybody remembers Rush Hour movies, I think they went to part 3. I don't know. Does this movie still get the pass that maybe you can't get away with now? I mean, Chris Tucker throughout the movie is essentially mocking Asian people. I don't know. Does it happen? I mean, you talked about ain't nobody understand the words coming out of your mouth of Jackie Chan. He does a whole kind of faux Chinese accent and pretend he knows martial arts and all this kind of stuff. So, does that get played in today's society? I don't know. I'm just asking. Do not know. I don't have an opinion per se on it. Just wondering out loud, does that get the same type of push that you would have, 12 years ago or 15 years ago when this movie first came out? I don't even know what year it came out, but let's see if it says on here, 2001. So 20 years ago, this movie came out. Can you believe it's been 20 years since this came out? Holy smokes. Then this is a movie that I did not ever watch. I've heard about it, but it is De Niro and Pacino in Righteous Kill. So I've never seen it before. Let's take a look at who else is in this. Curtis Jackson, which is 50 Cent. Carla Gugino. Donnie Wahlberg. Brian Dennehy. John Leguizamo. So I don't know. I mean, there's a couple pretty cool character actor type people in here. There's the movie itself. So I'll be giving it a shot. This was apparently some kind of, picked up at like a secondhand movie shop, it looks like, with all the stickers here. And it doesn't look like it's a rental. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember hearing too much about this one way or the other. Maybe some of you all will have seen this and can talk a little bit about it for me, but I'm not 100% for sure what that one looks like. And here are the ones that are maybe a little bit more rare to find or hard to find. You don't see them too much in the wild. And my dad's having them. I was pretty excited because A, I don't have them myself, or B, they're just hard to find, and I'm not going to just come across them more than likely, at least in my experience over the years of tracking down physical media. The first up is Christian Bale in The Machinist, which is one of the first movies I think he's ever done. At least the ones that got released over here or was a big part of his push into American cinema. Jennifer Jason Leigh's in here. Wasn't Jennifer Jason Leigh this? Isn't she in The Hateful Eight? I think that's Jennifer Jason Leigh. I hadn't seen her in anything Michael Ironsides is in here. Huh. Who else is in here? No one else really sticks out. So Jennifer Jason Leigh and Michael Ironside are the two people you see that are also in here. I have to say I have not seen this before. I know that it's kind of a big one in the community, especially kind of in the more horror realm, like kind of subversive, just weird, offbeat stuff. I know this movie is pretty popular. I know I hear a lot of people talk about it. I know he lost like I don't know how much, like 50 pounds or 75 pounds or something crazy to play this role. I don't know much about it. But it says Trevor Resnick, Christian Bale hasn't slept in a year. The shocking deterioration of his physical and mental health has made his every waking moment an unrelenting state of confusion, paranoia, guilt, anxiety, and terror. His only solace from this living nightmare comes from from an affectionate prostitute, Jennifer Jason Leigh. So there you go. So there you go. So I'm definitely interested in checking that out. Don't know much about it. It's one of those ones that I'd never seen, and if I did, I do not remember it. So, all right, like I said, the next couple ones are ones I don't see too often. Again, not saying they're rare, not saying it's expensive, just something I've not seen in the wild too often. Yeah, hey, what up, Joe? Thanks for popping in, dude. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the film The Machinist, especially about Christian Bale's performance. I know that Christian Bale is doing his first since Batman superhero movie, at least first Marvel superhero movie with, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think he's the God Butcher or something they're calling him, like Gore the God Butcher. And then that sounds right, but I think they said Christian Bale it was tapped to play that role, so we'll see him play in now Marvel movies in the future. So that'll be interesting. Next up is the very first in the series of 007 movies, if I'm not mistaken. I know Lazenby, like something Lazenby was the first James Bond and the first, like, for Casino Royale. Wasn't gonna try to trip me up. I get it. But this is Sean Connery in Dr. No, which I believe is the very first film that actually is canon for the James Bond films. Can I remember the bad guy in this one or not? Let's see here. Ursula Andress is in there. I think that's a big thing when she like comes out of the water, out of the ocean, and she's dripping wet. I know that's a big thing there. Bernard Lee, the story about Bernard Lee, Joseph Wiseman, Jack Lord's in this. So yeah, I've not seen this one in forever. And it has a commentary featuring the director Terrence Young and cast and crew. There's an Inside Dr. No documentary. Terrence Young Bond Vivant documentary, Vivant, maybe, a featurette, original TV ads, radio spots, exciting still gallery, original theatrical trailer, and a collector's booklet, which is not in there. So there's that. So I am pretty excited about this because I can honestly tell you I have not seen Dr. No since, I can't even tell you, since mid 80s, I'm sure at some point. They all kind of run together. Sean Connery is by far my favorite James Bond. I think it's You Only Die Twice, the one when he's in Japan. I think that's the one it was. Or You Only Die Twice. I think that's what it's called. That's when I kind of got first introduced to Japan, surprisingly. And he's a much older, I believe, in that movie. But I remember watching that, really liking it as a kid. Like, ooh, because Japan looks so just completely different than America. So I remember thinking that was a cool movie. Fast forward, I got to live there for years. I got to be a part of the culture, speaking the language. So it's kind of a cool introductory to that. Talk about something that was like an introductory to like the world of Asia. My father used to have a Bruce Lee poster hanging up in our garage because he worked out and did martial arts before we were born, and I guess he was kind of into the whole I know he was into the whole kung fu martial arts scene as far as the film's concerned. but I remember him like being into having that poster hanging up. So when I saw this, I was like, dude, I got to pick this up for my dad. So this is Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, starring Jason Scott Lee, Lauren Holly, Nancy Kwan's in here, Robert Wagner. So Rob Cohen directed this, which I did not know that. That's interesting. But anyway, so I know when this movie came out, I feel like there was like some backlash. There was some like people kind of hating on the movie, so I don't really remember too much about it. It came out, I want to say, late '90s. Also, I was kind of '98, so I was a senior in high school. So I'm pretty sure I probably saw it in the theater, or like I saw it when it got to VHS/DVD or whatever. But I was in college and I wasn't focusing too much on a lot of film at that point in time. I was more and more worried about school. Here's the tagline: is the mystery, the life, the love, the legend, the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story collector's edition. So here's the booklet. Here's the DVD itself. The booklet. I haven't seen this movie forever. It's always cool to get free movies, especially from my pops, because he is the reason why I am a movie fan. If it was not for my dad, I would probably not have a YouTube channel, especially not one talking about film. I would not have hundreds, if not thousands, of Blu-rays and DVDs strewn about my house and my garage and my parents' house. So definitely. So it's nice when he goes, you know what? I'm done with those. You can have them. Actually, he had so many. He was like, you need to come back and get more. And I'm like, Dad, I don't want to take every one of your DVDs or whatever. And he's like, I ain't watching them. I don't care. I know you'll enjoy them. And I'm like, I just felt bad to like come out of my parents' house with like 14, plastic bags filled with movies. I was like, I'll just grab them as I go. Like I'll grab one bag at a time, fill the bag up every time I come home. And, by the end of the year or whatever, I'll maybe have all of them out of your hair. So next up, again, like I said, I'm just talking about the ones that I think are cool, not that they're rare or expensive. You don't see this one too often in the wild. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme and Death Warrant. At least not this cover. Maybe you've seen other variations of this. This is widescreen, which is what I really care about, but I did not have this one in the collection. I'm trying to think of anybody in here. Patrick Kirkpatrick. I remember he is in here. That's right. Robert Guillaume, Cynthia Gibb, George Dickerson are the other people in the movie. Oh, David Goyer wrote this. David Goyer is the same writer and director, I believe. And I think, writer and then director of like Blade 2, Blade 2, Blade 3. I think he also did, I want to say he did some stuff with like the Batman movies or whatever. I'm not for sure, but I remember he's a big comic book fan. But David S. Goyer, I remember him. He did lots and lots of writing and screenplays, I believe, for lots of studios. And he was a big superhero fan. So there you go, Death Warrant. I honestly can tell you I do not remember Death Warrant all that much. I get Death Warrant sometimes mixed up with Hard Target, I think. For whatever reason, I think Hard Target and Death Warrant. I know Hard Target, he's like running around with a mullet in the desert or something, but it just kind of gets me, those ones get me confused. And then the last one I have that is like, that are kind of, again, hard to find again in the wild, something I don't see too often. And it was super cool to find this one. And I do believe this is a full screen version, but I don't know if it even's out on DVD. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a Blu-ray of it somewhere. You all can tell me if anybody still watching this down the road. It is American Kickboxer Part 1. There you go. So American Kickboxer, starring Josh Barrett, Keith Vitale, Brad Morris, Terry Norton, and Ted LaPlante. I remember watching this movie when I was a kid with my brother and my dad, like all the time. It was like on a rotation in the old Payne household. I remember getting Kickboxer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 117, whatever it was. But American Kickboxer was on a steady rotation in the Payne house. So I remember watching this. I'm sure this probably sucks in real life when you're not like a 10-year-old kid or 12-year-old kid watching action movies in the 80s and the early 90s. But this came out in 1990, it looks like. So anyways, I remember this movie being so good when I was growing up. So we'll give it a whirl. I had never seen this in the wild. So that's why I wanted to, my dad was like, just go through and grab stuff. Because him and I have such the same taste. I mean, we like action movies, comedies, westerns, So it's not going to be hard. I mean, pretty much everything he has is stuff I want to watch or I just want to have because I don't have it, So anyways, here's Kickboxer Part 1. American Kickboxer. So let me go ahead and show these off. I will do the Blu-rays on a separate video. Not today. I've already done 2 videos, so that's enough. So there you all go. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Try to get my money's worth since I haven't done one in forever. So you got 2 today, 2 totally different topics. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. I appreciate Joe and a few others that have been popping in and out. Want to do this again sometime. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.